Today we're doing something very near and dear to our hearts here at CJAD 800. Of course, it is the Caring for Kids Radiothon for the Montreal Children's Hospital. Listen, I don't need to tell you, it has been a very challenging time for hospitals, including the Montreal Children's Hospital. COVID forced the cancellation of a whole lot of fundraising events. This, unfortunately, will affect some services at the hospital. So the kids and their families need our help more than ever this year. Joining us now is CJAD Children's Champion, Dr. Sharif Emil, Director of the Division of Pediatric General and Thoracic Surgery at the Montreal Children's Hospital. Hello, Dr. Emil.
Hi, Natasha. Thank you for calling me.
Thank you so much for your time. So we've heard... we keep hearing that, COVID with kids, it's not that much to worry about. It doesn't affect most healthy children as severely as it affects adults. Is that the case for all kids?
No, it's not the case. There's certainly been some significant syndromes and illnesses reported, but people also have to remember when we started this in March, we didn't know that. We had no idea that kids are going to be spared. We didn't know that, we may be seeing less kids than adults. We really didn't know what to expect. So those thoughts are sort of after the fact, but when we were in the thick of it, we really didn't know what was coming.
And so you have to be prepared for anything and everything.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's got to be an incredibly stressful time.
Yeah, I remember it very well because I was actually on a surgical mission in Africa when COVID struck, and I had to interrupt my mission after 2 weeks, both because we stopped operating there and because I had to come here, go into quarantine, and get back on service. We had some people out also in quarantine, so it was a very, very difficult time. But, surgeons think on their feet, they think quick, and they come up with solutions fast. And that's what happened certainly in our department and how we weathered this storm.
Yeah, the priorities become really clear, right? And for you in that moment, I'm sure it's like, I just got to get back. I got to get back here to do what I need to do. Okay, so let's talk about what the difference is between treating children and treating adults, because it's not at all the same approach, right?
No, exactly. But, when we treat children, we treat families because we know these children are going back home. So it depends on their environment. It depends where they came from and where they're going. So we couldn't just focus on the child. We really had to focus on the entire family. And so one thing we did, for example, very quickly is come up with a triage system to decide, which children really still need to go into surgery, which meant that some of them had to be operated under COVID precautions. And, that was an eye-opener for all of us, operating in these Martian suits that you've seen on TV on little kids, sometimes as small as a kilo and a half. Mm-hmm. But that was our approach, is that we had to think of the entire family.
And just had the stress on them, and as well as the stress on you. It's already such a stressful situation, and then it's just magnified. So this morning I was hearing a dad talk about, what it was like for his daughter to be surrounded by people in masks and unable to people smile. You're talking about these, the even beyond that. So that's got to be a difficult thing. How do you overcome that kind of challenge?
Very, very scary time. We had to suspend our parental presence at induction program, which we're very proud of, where the parents can come in with the children. Only one parent could be with the child. It was a very difficult time. But, I really think, and I'm honestly saying this from the bottom of my heart, I think we have a special environment. I really do. And I think we really think of kids as our partners and families as our partners. And I feel very much like we weathered this together. It wasn't about doctors doing something for kids or kids behaving in a certain way or families having to accommodate. It honestly was a team effort, and everybody understood that all of us have to change the way we're doing things. And I think we continue to do what we do, which is work as a team.
What's it like now, Dr. Emil, that things are getting a little bit back to normal?
Oh, things are incredibly better. In fact, we are back operating at our usual pace. We've caught up on many of the patients who've had to be put on hold. Our clinics have opened up more or less to capacity. So we're just praying that we don't rebound or we don't get into another cycle. But if we continue in this trajectory, we will do very well.
We're speaking with Dr. Emil, the Director of the Division of Pediatric General and Thoracic Surgery at the Children's Hospital. This is Conversation brought to you by CJAD. I got to tell you, so I've had, you hope you never have to go to the hospital, but inevitably as a parent, you're going to have to. I've had an amazing experience at the Children's. My daughter simply had her tonsils out, but you get so attached to the staff, and Dr. Lily's the one who took care of us. And, I'll remember all of them. I wonder for you guys, and you're dealing with so many families and in such much more serious scenarios. Are there families that you say to yourself, I will never forget that family?
Natasha, I'm writing a book right now, and it's
Are
called
you?
Surrendering Your Child. And it's really about exactly what you mentioned, that incredible relationship that has to exist when you take your child and give them over to another team to do something quite invasive. So, of course, we have specific families that we think of, and it's actually the families that may have not had the most excellent outcomes, who had to go through tragedies that I get very, very close to. But really, every family, whether they're surrendering their child for a very simple 30-minute operation or an operation that's going to last a day, it's really a lot of the same emotions of having to leave your child with a team. And it takes an amazing amount of trust between the surgical anesthesia teams, nurses, etc., and the child and the family to just get us through that.
I love hearing that because we are all in it together, right? Well, what amazes you most about your patients, these little ones that you're helping out?
They're incredibly resilient. Sorry, I was operating all day today, so I didn't get a chance to hear some of the stories, but I'm sure some of the stories came out, and some will still come out in the next couple of hours. But children are miracles. Every child is truly a miracle. My motto in pediatric surgery is no child left behind. We never give up hope, no matter how things look. It's the stories of resilience of children that keep us going. I mean, that's really our engine.
And would you like people to know? Like, I always think if someone's listening right now and they're like, I work hard for my money, I need to hold on to it, but they're kind of feeling their heartstrings tugged and like maybe they want to give. How important are these donations?
Extremely important. And I know these are difficult times. I don't underestimate. I talk to parents who've lost jobs, and my heart goes out to them. These are difficult times, but we cannot do everything we do here without this community support. We really can't. I mean, we can provide basic services, but that's not what we do here. We provide state-of-the-art services that are as good as any place around the world. And to do that, we need the community support, and we need people's help.
And the easiest way is to get in on this today, joining the Circle of Hugs. Dr. Emile, I hope we get to speak again. I've really enjoyed this conversation. I'm sure our listeners have too.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. You keep up the great work that you're doing.
Thank you.
That is HC Habitation Children's Champion, Dr. Cherif Emile. He's the director of the Division of Pediatric General and Thoracic Surgery at the Montreal Children's Hospital. So again, you can help these amazing kids. Join the Circle of Hugs now. All you have to do is call the Dormez-vous phone bank at 514-939-KIDS. That's 939-5437. Just like I was saying, you hope you're never going to need their services, but you never know. You never know what the future holds tomorrow. And I got to say, I've been astonished and so relieved by the amazing care that we received at the Montreal Children's Hospital, and this money goes directly to helping kids in our community.